Great. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. My name is Leigh Tobin. I am the founder and director of Alphabet Social. So we love local brands. So I'm very excited to have been invited to present today on behalf of Proudly South Africa. At Alphabet Social, we exist to help local brands scale their revenue and build their profitability mainly through strategic use of social media platforms. So we've worked with a number of fabulous brands and helped them grow. We work with many online fashion retailers, helping them to scale their online sales, mainly through Facebook and Instagram paid advertising. We've also worked in the education sector with consumer goods brands, spirit and wine brands. So we have a breadth and depth of experience across many categories. And the services that we offer at Alphabet Social, so we believe in empowering business owners with the knowledge to really build their strategies and understand these platforms so that they can take ownership of their digital strategies and leverage them in order to grow their sales. So we offer online courses and we have a monthly membership. So our members tune in every month and we give them up-to-date strategies to keep on top of social media, because as we all know, it is constantly changing and evolving, and it is a challenge if you're running a business and trying to market your business to keep on top of things. So courses and memberships are one of the pillars that we offer. Then we also run paid ad strategies for brands. So we really focus on bottom line revenue and linking our marketing efforts to the conversions that our clients are getting online. So we run ad creative mainly on Instagram and Facebook in order to help our clients drive sales and improve their profitability. And then one-to-one consulting for brands that really feel like they just need that nudge in the right direction and a little bit of guidance and confidence to know that they're on the right track to connecting with their ideal customers and growing their business, because as we know, there is so much potential in South Africa to really grow a wonderful, profitable business online. And COVID has really accelerated that by, I would say, about 5 years. You know, we've really seen that escalation in people shopping online and spending more time on their mobile devices. So if you stick around for the whole session, I'm excited to share that we have a free gift for you. I have created a social media content plan with a content prompt for every single day of the month for April. So these are content ideas that my team and I have come up with that we know are going to drive engagement with your customers and are really going to sort of leverage the latest trends in the algorithm. So to get that free gift, make sure you stick around to the end and I'll share a link where you can download it and start posting and planning your content for the month of April. Okay, so without further ado, I'm very excited to get into today's presentation. So when the Proudly SA team contacted me, I was very excited to know that I could actually get stuck into two member businesses. These are very different businesses. So hopefully you will be able to learn a lot for your own brand by what I'm going to share with you today. So the task that I was given was to analyze two different brands who are Proudly SA members and look for opportunities within their marketing strategy where we could identify areas for improvement to connect with their ideal audience and drive sales and conversions through their digital and social media strategy. So the first brand I'll introduce in a minute, but this session is really going to be a power hour where I'm going to allocate around 15 minutes per brand. So I'm up for the challenge, not a lot of time, but I really want to focus on, based on the research that I've done, what these brands can do and the changes that they can make to their strategy in order to deliver the biggest impact on their brand and on their online revenue. So let's get into it. The first brand I had the pleasure of reviewing is a brand called Sanath Trading. So I spoke to their CEO, V, on the phone, and she told me a little bit more about the brand. And to share with you, they are a supplier of food service equipment. and decor products for use at events and weddings and parties. So I think one of the challenges of their brand is that they offer two quite distinct areas that speak to two quite distinct audiences. So you can imagine, industrial cooking equipment that one might use in the kitchen at a big hotel or on a cruise line. They would be speaking to restaurant owners or people building hotels. And then the decor for weddings and parties, their audience would be more event planners and decorators. Okay, so in this session, I'm going to look at three key pillars of their marketing strategy: their website, their social media presence, and their advertising, paid advertising, and what in each of those areas they need to focus on in order to get closer to their goals of building revenue and profitability. So as you do when you hear about a brand, you first go to their website. And when I went on to or Googled Sanath Trading and I found their website, the first impression I got was very much around industrial kitchen equipment, a lot of imagery focusing on that. And then on their homepage, there was also information around solar energy, services in the mining sector. So they required a lot of diverse messaging on their homepage. But I didn't really see much around event decor. But then when I went to their Instagram account and their Facebook account, there were these images of beautifully laid out tables at weddings and other events. So my first reaction was that there was a little bit of a disconnect between what you see on social media and what they present on their website. So my first piece of advice to this business would be to make sure that for potential customers coming onto your website, that it is very clear and very easy for them to navigate to where they want to be. So if I were a restaurateur looking to buy equipment, it needs to be very easy for me to quickly find that, click on a link on the homepage and go to a landing page specifically focused on that, because that person is very different to an event planner who would be looking for potentially vases and candlesticks and tablecloths. So split your homepage and make it easy for your customers to self-navigate to their relevant areas on the website. Okay. On the event side of the site, I would say you need to have a headline and a clear call to action. So they can very easily identify what you do and who you serve. For me, that was really lacking on the site. It wasn't clear around what do you actually do as a business and who are you speaking to? So a simple headline on the homepage might do a lot of that work for you. So something like, for event organizers who understand quality and appreciate great service, browse our range of decor and linen online now. And then a call to action button, download our catalog. So make sure on your website, it is very, very quick and easy to see what you do and who you serve, and give people a call to action. People only you only have about half a second to get someone's attention, not even that online. And remember, most people are viewing websites now on a mobile device, not on a desktop or a laptop. So you want to make sure that your website is very easy to navigate on a mobile phone, and that it takes them literally a few seconds, if that, to find out what you do and what action they can take. In addition to that, I would say it's important, and something that's lacking is some kind of trust factor. How do I know that this is a reputable, reliable brand? I'm someone that has never heard of Sanath Trading. Maybe I found you on Google, or I saw an ad on Facebook and I come to your website. Now I want to know, have people used this brand before? What has their experience been like? So to tick that box, you want to be putting things like customer testimonials, reviews, examples of companies and brands that you've worked with before, endorsements. That is going to help build trust in your potential customer, so that they take that all-important step to shop your event decor products. So to summarize, there's three key areas of your website that you need to focus on, really focusing on the design and functionality. One thing I found was a few of the buttons on the website were malfunctioning. There's also a shop there is also a shop function on the site. So under some of the products, it says shop now. When I click on that, there's a cart function, but there is no fulfillment or back end to that. So that might frustrate potential customers who think that they can come and actually shop products online when in fact they can't. So my advice would be to remove that and just replace it with a call to action to download your catalog or to email us for a quote. That way you're going to get the lead and you're going to be able to follow up and nurture that lead with email or potentially WhatsApp for business. The second area that I would focus on is your search engine optimization. Event decor and industrial equipment is something that people would search for on Google. So you want to make sure that your website is going to rank highly on Google by getting an SEO expert to look at your site and implement keywords that would help your site rank high on Google and to get that all important organic search results and search traffic. And then analyze your website copy and information. Make sure that it is very simple to find what you're looking for and make sure that your hierarchy of information makes sense to people. And just to help people navigate that website and get to where they want to go really fast. Okay, now moving from the website to your social media platforms. Now, this is a challenge I see for a lot of businesses in that we feel this pressure to be present on as many social media platforms as possible. And sometimes that is a mistake. So I've seen that you have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest, but a lot of those accounts are inactive, I would imagine, because the team doesn't have the bandwidth to create content for all of those platforms. That is a full-time job in itself. So my advice would be to consolidate your platforms, be active on fewer platforms, but do a really great job on those platforms. So it looks like you've had a lot of success with Facebook and Facebook ads. So my advice would be to stick to Facebook. And then Instagram is also a wonderful visual platform through which you can connect with event organizers and event planners. So I would say stick with Instagram. And then I put in brackets LinkedIn and Pinterest because I only want you to focus on those once you feel like you've got the bandwidth to do so. And if not, then stick to Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Once we've selected our social platforms, and one thing I wanted to point out is when you're selecting your social platforms, the most important factor is my ideal audience active on these platforms and what are they coming to these platforms for? Okay, so a lot of event planners are on Instagram. So I would say Instagram would be a great platform to put your energy and your time and your resources into. And then Facebook generally performs well from a paid advertising perspective. Okay, so when you're setting up your profile, you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. When we discover a new brand on Instagram, maybe their post comes up in our feed, we generally click on that brand and try and figure out what they're about and make a quick decision on whether I should follow them. So when I look at your current Instagram profile, I feel like there are some missed opportunities that you're not taking advantage of. So I'm going to quickly show you how I've optimized our bio so that you can take some lessons from that and apply it to your own brand. So if you look at the anatomy of an Instagram account, the first is your handle. So what people can type into Instagram in order to find your business. Generally, it's a good idea to use your company name, which you have done for Sanath Trading. Okay, so tick. Then your profile icon. At the moment, you're just using a bunch of images. It's really hard to see what's in those images, and it's a little bit of a wasted opportunity. So I would change that to your logo, so you're getting a little bit of brand recognition, brand awareness, and then when people see that logo coming up in their feed, they can instantly recognize it, and they know that it's a post from Sanath Trading. And then what you've done is you've used your company name as your account handle and as your name field. Now, what I would suggest is changing your name field to be more of a descriptive line. So almost like a secondary line to your brand. So you have Sanath Trading as your handle, and then you could put in there supplying the event industry, for example. And what's interesting to note is that the name field is the only searchable text in Instagram. So we often like to use that for SEO purposes. So by including keywords like I've done in terms of marketing coach, it makes it more likely that our accounts will come up as a result if people search for marketing or for event decor. And then it's also very important in your bio to include a brief summary of what you do. I like to suggest using emojis to break up the lines and make it easy to scan read, and then include a call to action to tell people who come to your account what you do and how you can help them. So in your case, it would be get our 2022 product catalog now and a link to download it from your website. That way you're instantly getting leads from Instagram into your business, and you can then drive more sales that way. As I said, you have about 0.1 seconds. If you think about when we spend time on social media, we are scrolling so fast and waiting for something to grab our attention. So when it comes to digital marketing, more than ever, we're in the business of understanding people's brains and how they work and how we can cut through and get their attention. So I looked at one of your previous recent posts and I just did a quick analysis of it. Now, if I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this beautiful piece of fabric, I wouldn't stop the scroll necessarily because there's nothing really hooking me to look more and find out more about it. And also, I don't really understand the context. I mean, it could also be the bottom piece of a tie. It could be a tablecloth. There's a little bit too much work that my brain needs to do there in order to figure out what's going on. And there's nothing telling me what action I should take and what I need to do in order to purchase or support your business. So a few key changes can make all the difference. And I've done a quick mock-up for you. So number one, I would do 3 tile slides, so a carousel, as we like to call it. And on the first image, you want to have your hook. So when your audience sees it, they stop the scroll. Now you're targeting event organizers, so have a sentence that would appeal to them. So I've just used the line, need help sourcing quality event decor, ? So when an event organizer sees it, they're like, oh, that speaks to me. Let me find out a little bit more about what's going on there. The second one, when they scroll, could have a little bit of social proof. So I want to know, have other people used this service? Was it a good service? And what can I expect from this brand? So I've just written an example testimonial from a customer and put a photo of a client in there. And then the third tile will include the all-important call to action. I've also included the face of V, the CEO. That's going to help build trust. So your ideal customer or your potential customer knows that there are real people behind this brand. You know, the CEO is willing to put her face on it and put her name to this brand. And they're going to give me value by offering me a free catalog. And I know exactly what I need to do. They're telling me I need to download their catalog now. So you can see how a few key design changes can make all the difference and be so powerful in getting people to take action on your content. That is ultimately what we're doing. We're designing content on social media that inspires action from our audience. Now, when it comes to planning your social media content strategy, one thing I noticed from Sanath Trading was that there was great content, but it was very one-dimensional. So there was a lot of posts of tablecloths, tabletops, but it was lacking a little bit of human interaction. And I think by designing key content themes or pillars, it will go a long way in helping you diversify your content strategy and better plan your content. So the 4 pillars that I've identified or would suggest implementing for your brand were engagement, so content that is going to elicit an action like a like, a comment, a share, or a vote from my audience. Then ideas of inspiration. The events industry is all about visual inspiration. So give people inspiration and ideas for their event, and then you can be the supplier that helps them bring that event idea to life. The next pillar is social proof. Very, very important, as I've mentioned, getting that trust factor going. So showing customers using your products, showing that people that have gone before them have had a great experience. And then the 4th pillar would be promotion. So what can I offer my audience that is going to inspire them to take action today? Scarcity, things like limited time sales, flash offers, percentage discounts, exclusive content, exclusive pieces, for example. So let's look at some visual examples of each of those key pillars. So on my left-hand side, I've got Instagram stories, a great tool in order to get quick responses and action from your audience. Another reason it's important to create interactive content like this is because an action from your audience signals to the platform's algorithm that your brand's content is of value to this person, which secures your brand's visibility in their feed in future. If people don't take action on your content, that signals to the algorithm that no one is interested, and your content will be less likely to be seen by your audience over time. So you really want to focus on not just putting anything out there just because you have to post today, but focusing on content that your audience actually wants to like, comment, and engage with. So things like Instagram story quizzes and polls are a great way to make it easy for your audience to give their opinion and to take action. So an example was an Instagram story quiz was, which decor style do you prefer, left or right? And people love giving their opinion on social media. So they can just say, oh, I like the left table, or I like the right table. Also positions your brand in their mind that this brand is the brand that I go to for event decor. The second pillar, tips and inspiration. Give people tips. You could do a video on how to put an event together, how to set a table, inspirational visuals from other events. And ideally, you'd want to include a human element to this to make it a little bit more dynamic and engaging. Social proof, testimonials, and quotes from previous customers. And then finally, promotion. So quick flash sales, promos, offers to hook your clients in and get them to take action. And then finally, your content strategy is key, because without content, we're not going to connect with that all-important potential customer. And then what I like to say is your paid strategy is the fuel that you're going to add to the fire. So once you have you can't have a paid strategy without content. But once you have great content, your paid strategy is going to help accelerate and amplify and fast track your results. We've seen this time and time again with our clients who weren't running paid ads and then suddenly started investing in a strategic, paid ads funnel. It really amplified their online revenue a lot. So I would suggest a two-pronged paid ad strategy for Sanath Trading. One, targeting cold audiences who don't know anything about the brand. There, your role is to build front of mind, top of mind awareness. So I would do a lead generation campaign where they can click on the ad and have a little form that they can enter their email address to download the catalog. Now you have their email address, and you can use that data to retarget them and nurture that lead and drip information about the brand over time, so that when they're in the market for event decor and to buy some decor supplies, your brand is top of mind. Then once you have done this would be an always on strategy running in the background. Once you have built up a database, you can then retarget those people on social media with a secondary campaign to get them to take action. So just reminding them to shop now, buy now, and that would have a more forceful, I guess not forceful is the wrong word, but a stronger call to action to shop the supplies online or to make their order. And you can also couple this with themed emailers every month or every other week, and giving your audience ideas, inspiration. You could even do themed emailers such as wedding themed decor, baby shower themed decor, and really showcasing the array of supplies that you offer for your brand. So just to summarize the findings when I dug into this great brand with loads of potential, the first thing I would do is update your website design and make sure it is functioning and working, particularly on mobile. You don't want to invest any more marketing money unless you have your landing page experience optimized and your customers know when they land on your site exactly what you offer and what they need to do in order to work with you. Clarify the communication to speak to those two segments, the event managers and the restaurateurs. And then create value-adding content on a consistent basis. Include more short-form video to really show your story and showcase what you're about. And then implement your always-on paid strategy over and above that to help generate your leads. So I hope you found that helpful. It was a lot to analyze in 15 minutes. Sorry if I went a little bit fast. But yeah, those are the key things that I would fix and optimize first in order to start seeing better results for your brand online. Okay, you have a quick sip of water. That was the first brand. And I think that the key thing here is that we need to step out of our minds when we're marketing our business and into the minds of our consumer. And it's easier said than done. And it's something that we constantly need to work on and really understand our end consumer rather than just sharing what we think is important or what we want to say as a business. Really stepping into the minds of our audience, understanding what they're struggling with, talking to them, like what frustrates you when it comes to hiring event decor. What are your key pain points? What language do they use that it's unreliable or difficult to find what you're looking for? And then weave that language into your marketing. So we help you find what you're looking for fast. Address those pain points in your marketing, and it's going to make it so much more powerful. Great. Well, let me introduce you to the next brand. Very, very different, but equally exciting, very innovative South African brand that I'd never heard about and was very excited to discover. And that brand is Hanley Technology. So this brand was founded by Hanley Nyati, and they are a South African brand selling laptops, tablets, and computers. And their mission is to provide access to ICT resources for all. Incredible, that this local brand is producing all these devices and making it more accessible to the South African population is just fantastic. And there is such a powerful story to the brand. And I was privileged and very excited to discover this brand through Proudly SA. The three key pillars that I will cover, as I said before, are their website, social media strategy, and paid advertising. So first things first, the key findings that I kind of uncovered as I dug into your brand online and what you do was clearly this is a very competitive sector, goes without saying, and you are up against big global players. So, the likes of Dell, Acer, Microsoft, Apple, these are big brands with enormous marketing budgets, and you are competing directly with them. So there is almost a role that you need to play as one of the few brands, local brands that are offering this service and offering these products, is to almost shift perception that great technology and great ICT resources can come out of South Africa, because I think as South Africans, we're so used to having to import those products or rely on American or Asian brands. And I think that we're not used to having brands that can actually supply it in South Africa. So your marketing needs to almost help play that role in shifting perception and building trust in South African technology brands. And that is something that clearly, even though you do have a big B2B part of your business, as we discussed, Hanley, there's a need to build more consumer awareness around Hanley Technologies in South Africa. And as I said, that trust factor. But despite the big global competition, you do have unique selling points that set you apart, and that I feel could come through more strongly in your online marketing. That is the fact that you're a proudly local brand. It's not always very obvious when you go to your website that you are a local brand. Your prices are extremely competitive versus the global brands, and you offer great post-sale support and training, and you can market it as this is a local brand really built for the SA consumer. So you shared a number of amazing resources with me, and when I looked through your brand guide and then went onto your website, I think because you serve so many different sectors, from computing to banking to media to retail to education, there's a little bit of a, challenge in that you're trying to be something to everyone and then potentially end up appealing to no one. So one of the things I noticed when I went on your website is I was wondering, like, who are they targeting here? Who is this for? Is it for the corporate sector? Is it for, students? Is it for the medical sector? So there needs to be a little bit more work done on speaking to a specific niche and using representation in your marketing so it's clear to people who you are speaking to when you are selling these devices. I think people feel a little bit lost and insecure when they see a brand and they don't really see who's going to be using this brand. Is it for me? So that is why it's important to include those visuals of your audience in your marketing and not just the product itself. Linked to that is your communication strategy. So, there are these wonderful devices, like quality devices, but there's definitely a focus on the features of the product. And I think that you can often lose your customer in the jargon and the focus on the battery life and, all these amazing features, which could easily go in like a product information booklet when you sell the product. Important to show how incredible it is, but equally important to really focus on talking to their hearts and their inspiration and inspiring them beyond just talking about product features. So in your marketing, really focusing on that point of difference, that it's a local brand changing people's lives, that this is a tool that you can use to achieve your dreams, whether that be finishing university or completing your high school education or starting your own business. And then focusing on your competitive pricing, the quality that you get at an affordable price, I think would be really powerful in getting more people to buy into the brand and support and buy from you. Just an example, we know like Apple is always used as an example of a brand that does incredible marketing. But I mean, in a lot of their marketing and advertising, especially back in the 80s and the 90s in their heydays, was they didn't even show a device in their advertising. One of their most powerful adverts was this one featuring Steve Jobs, where it just had 2 words and their logo, and it was Think Different. And what they were doing there was really appealing to the hearts of innovators, of outsiders, of people that don't just toe the line, that want to be early adopters, that would want to use an Apple product. And so that's what I mean when it's like stepping away from the features of the product and talking more to the hearts of your ideal customers in terms of how you can really change their lives and, how you can be the guide in their life that helps them to achieve their dream. Another important thing I think that needs to be featured in this brand is giving people, like I said with Sanath Trading, the trust that others have gone before them and used this brand. Because for a lot of South Africans, this will be a completely new brand. It's a relatively high cost investment. And so in order to get people to take action and buy from you, you really need to instill trust fast and let them know that this is a quality product other people have used and they've had a good experience. And this is known as the bandwagon effect. No one wants to be the first person to use a product, unless you're really an early adopter. We like to know that other people have tried it and they had a good experience, whether that be a restaurant or a hotel or a washing machine or a laptop or a tablet in this case. So make sure you feature previous customers in your marketing, show notable companies that you've worked with, repeatedly show this in your marketing to help really strengthen that trust with your customers. Okay, so give me 1 second. Awesome. So be clear who you're speaking to and what the key benefits are beyond the product attributes. Product attributes are important, but they could almost be secondary to the story that people are buying into. And then also reinforce that trust. Why should I trust this brand? How do I know that their products are good? Okay. Then in terms of your social media platforms, just want to check, sorry, how I'm doing for time. That's why I keep checking my phone. We're all on track. In terms of social media platforms, I will say, like I said with Sanath, not to try be something on every platform. It's very, very difficult unless you have a huge marketing team and a huge investment to do all platforms well. So I would say at the moment you focus on Facebook and Instagram. I would branch out, and if you are targeting a younger consumer, especially students and schoolgoers, to also add TikTok to that portfolio of platforms, being that it can really help you get fast reach really quickly if you have a strong TikTok strategy, and also get you a lot of more organic reach. Now, when it comes to your profile and how you show up on these platforms, I think it's important to state who you are and how you serve them. So with your Instagram account, there's a lot of infrequent posting, so becoming a little bit more consistent in the content that you post. And I'll give you some content ideas in a minute. And just by updating your bio, at the moment it just says ITC company. So to a lot of people, they might not know what that means. They might not really know what you're about. So you could update your bio to include something like, we're a proudly South African technology company providing quality devices to help you reach your true potential. And then someone coming to your profile will be easily able to distinguish, okay, you're South African, you provide devices, and you're going to help me achieve my goals. And then include a call to action above your website link to order online now, so people know that they can actually shop online and order these online. They don't need to go into a store to purchase. And then looking at your content strategy, I would say in order to achieve your goals of building brand awareness, nurturing that trust, and getting people to cross the line and buy your product, I would split your content strategy across four key themes. I've identified the key themes that I would implement if I was to take on this brand as partnerships, case studies and testimonials, community, and sales promotions. Important before I move ahead with examples that we need to, as brands, add value to our customers' lives. The days of just putting an ad in the paper and expecting people to take action are over. People expect, or consumers expect, something in order to give something in return. So we need to educate, we need to inspire, we need to, make our audience laugh or make our audience think, or educate them, or provide something interesting in order to inspire them to take action. And this isn't something that happens overnight. Social media is a long game. It's a constant chipping away. It's a constant building of rapport with our audience, building of trust. It's a two-way thing. We need to interact with our followers and we need to build that relationship. It's not just sort of post and ghost and hope that the sales will come in. We need to put a lot of effort into the content strategy in order to inspire, connect with, and get our audience to make that purchase. So the first, for a brand that needs to build awareness, I would say partnerships and collaborations on social media are an exceptionally effective way to build brand trust and reach fast. So I've got an example here of Sia Khaleesi. We all know who he is, has a huge online footprint and following, and is a great example. He did a partnership with LG South Africa, obviously one of the top influencers in South Africa. It doesn't have to be as big as Sia Khaleesi, but by partnering with an influential person like that, you can then, your customers will then sort of attribute their values and the love they have for that person onto your brand and transfer that brand affinity over to your brand. So it's a great way of fast-tracking trust, fast-tracking brand affinity if you're a particularly new brand wanting to grow. So I would say identify some brand ambassadors. They don't have to have millions of followings. You can work with micro influencers across a number of different sectors if that's what you want to do, and get them to become brand ambassadors. Give them laptops, ask them to post about it on social media, show how they're working with them, feature them in their content, tag you in their content. And over time, it will build these layers of brand awareness, and suddenly people will start recognizing Hanley Technologies, and show a little bit more interest in the brand. The second key pillar, which is incredibly important, and you already have content because you have shared it with me, but I haven't seen this on your website or on your social media platforms, and that is customer case studies and testimonials. So if someone's going to invest in a high ticket item like a laptop or a tablet, of course, we're going to do our research and we're going to see, online reviews. What are people saying about this? How are they experiencing it? So making sure that you've got positive Google reviews, making sure that you're sharing content from real life people using your products is going to help instill that trust. And this has to happen on a consistent basis, constantly sharing or gathering feedback from customers and sharing that with a wider audience. And I'll show you in a minute how to weave that into your paid strategy. Another key arm of your business and something that you are doing amazing things with is your foundation and your community involvement. And that is an area that a lot of international brands can't compete on. So this is really going to help solidify you as a proudly South African brand that is just not just talking the talk, but is actually walking the walk. And what that's going to do is help build an element of brand love and admiration in your audience. So champion South African stories, small business owners, learners who are doing amazing things, and how your devices are the tool that they're using in order to do those things and achieve those things. Showcase, you've shown me some amazing images of your community involvement and what you're doing, but I'm not really seeing that a lot online. So making those images and that content work a bit harder for you and really featuring it front and center of your marketing strategy will be important. And then the last pillar would be promotion. So we still need to remember we have to tell people what we want them to do. People won't just know what it is they need to do. So we need to remind them to shop now, or order online, or make the most of this offer. And again, I stress that you need to please highlight your USPs, your point of difference. You're much more affordable and cost effective than a lot of the imported brands. It's locally made, it's simple to use, it's high quality, and you have amazing, as you've said to me, after sales service. You offer training within schools and follow-up service, and those are all things that should come to the fore in your marketing to set your brand apart from the competition. Okay. And then finally, once you have your content strategy in place, important to post consistently, at least 3 to 5 times a week. And then, as I say, paid ads is the fuel to the fire that's going to help amplify and fast track your brand awareness. So I wouldn't just, if I had to see an ad from a brand I didn't know for a laptop that was going to cost 4,000 Rand plus, the chances of someone clicking on that ad, not knowing your brand and buying it are very, very slim, almost zero. So you need to really have a funnel that helps to nurture your ideal customer from not knowing about you through to that sale. So I suggest a 3-tier strategy. The first strategy is just warming up that cold audience, like getting in front of them and making them stop the scroll and take notice and be like, this looks interesting. And making sure you're bringing your USPs, your unique selling points to the forefront and really addressing the key pain points that the audience has when it comes to buying technology. So you have a great video on your on your Facebook page. You could use that video and test it against potentially 2 or 3 other videos and run a brand awareness video, short form video as an ad on Facebook and Instagram. So the reason why running video ads is a great strategy for awareness is that it's relatively low cost. Facebook likes to push video on the platform, and you can reach a broad audience of people relatively cost effectively. Then what you can do is you can create an audience of people that have seen that video and retarget them. So now they're aware of your brand, they've seen a little bit about it in the feed, and now you've got their interest. Then you retarget people that have seen that video with another piece of content. So it's now, someone else has used this product and they had a great experience. So it could be a testimonial from people that have used your products or showing how the product is used in the field. So then they watch that second video, you're building the layers. and then you retarget the people that have seen the second video, either with a call to action to shop online, or even an offer, get 10% off your first purchase, or get 5% off your first purchase. And that is how we build those layers. It's very rare on social that someone makes their first interaction from a brand and buys. You need at least 8 interactions with the brand before you are convinced to hand over your money and buy it. I would say for businesses that sell things that are a little bit more expensive or high ticket, that number of interactions probably goes up, because we're less likely to take that risk and hand over our money so easily. So it's really constantly telling the stories, building brand trust, building brand love, so that when we're in the market for a new laptop or a new tablet or a new device, your brand is top of mind. I know what the benefits are, and I'm ready to make that purchase. Okay. So to summarize, it's super important that you really clarify, particularly on your website and your social platforms, who you are, what you do, and who you're speaking to. We must never assume that our audience knows we're talking to them. We need to show representation of them in our marketing through visuals, through language, through terms that they use, to show that we get them as a brand and we are there to serve them specifically. Address their needs and pain points and use their language, as I say, in your marketing to make your brand relatable, and focus on your unique selling points versus the big global players to differentiate your brand in the South African market. And then, as I said, diversify your content strategy. Remember, we talked partnerships, case studies, promotions, to attract more eyeballs and get more attention. And then implement your funnel strategy to drive brand awareness with paid ads and convert more sales. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope you found that helpful. There will be a Q&A session after this, and then I will also be sharing the link to the April content plan in the discussion as well. Okay, so happy to answer any questions you have. Let me just close that quickly. Okay, thank you everybody. Hi Rams.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I've been listening to you.
I know there was a lot of information there.
Well, there is no such thing as too much information, Leigh. I'll tell you that much. And I have my own questions before we take other people's questions.
Sure.
Is it possible that we ask too much of ourselves as entrepreneurs, that perhaps some of the things that we need should be outsourced to other people, even though the word outsource may sound like it's expensive, but it's probably more costly to try to do something that you can do?
Mm-hmm. I would say, yeah, I mean, as an entrepreneur myself, one of the hard lessons I've had to learn is that you can't do everything yourself. In the beginning, maybe that is necessary in order to get the job done, but I think you quickly realize that it's not a sustainable strategy. The clients that we work with, we've been able to see how we've been able to fast track their results by being specialists in the area. So, I think a lot of the times we look at the cost because we're so focused on our profitability and not inflating our costs in the business. But we also have to think about, if we work with the right people, it can go the other way. Like, we can get more money, we can get more revenue, more sales. So I'm a big proponent of outsourcing and working with people that are smarter than you in certain areas, because I don't think in these days with so much going on, especially online, it's impossible almost to be an expert in everything, and we can't put that pressure on ourselves as business owners.
Well, in my view, actually, we mess up a lot online because that's not our space. If I create shirts, I probably am not that good at online, and I then get confused by these amazing people called influencers on Instagram. They're doing stuff, and I think maybe I can wear my own shirt and post it there and advertise my shirt, and nobody knows who Rams is. They don't care about the shirt, and we worry why sales don't grow. But let me leave it there and ask you, a question that was asked by Letitia Pierce. She says, is it a good idea to recycle old posts and captions?
Absolutely. So I think that we always think we have to be putting new things out there constantly. But actually, when we post something, a very small percentage of our followers are actually seeing it, because the average person follows thousands of brands. So, we're not, we're spending a lot of time on our devices, but it's impossible for us to see everything from every brand. So we shouldn't be too precious in thinking we can't reshare something that worked well in the past. So I often tell my members every month, like, go into your insights. We have so much information that we can use to our advantage. So on Instagram, for example, you can actually go into your insights and you can search for the posts that you've done that have got the most likes, the most comments, the most engagement, and circle the ones that are evergreen. Obviously you don't want to repost something that's talking about a sale 6 months ago, but the ones that are evergreen, repurpose them every few months, reshare them, and sometimes the second time you post it actually gets even more engagement than the first time. So absolutely. And also, just going back to the other thing of outsourcing, I think it is difficult for a lot of brands, because social media is such a public thing that you're doing. It's not like outsourcing your accounts or some legal stuff. It is very visual and very public, and it's hard for some business owners to hand over that control. So I would say, for business owners, empower yourselves with the knowledge to know what is going on, so that the agency or whoever you're working with can't fool you, and what's happening on these platforms. Like, it's important to empower yourself with some knowledge, and also just use these platforms yourself. And I think the more you know about it, the more at ease you feel, because you feel like you still have an element of control over it. I think when you don't know what's going on these platforms, it's scary to get someone else to just manage it for you. And have a strategy, agree to a strategy with your agency, so you know what's happening. You're not just posting with no real intention behind what you're posting. There's such a big difference between just posting for the sake of posting and posting intentionally with a strong call to action on what you want people to do.
Right, you may want to sit down before I read this comment. It says, and it's from Motegi Mpahlele, she says that this session is my best session so far.
Thank you so much. That makes me very happy.
Isn't that beautiful to hear that kind of feedback?
That's wonderful.
And
Thank you.
the teacher also says, thank you, Leigh. That makes a lot of sense. Tracy N. Peacock says she loves the downloadable calendar. Beautiful. Now, here's 2 questions from Kopano Kwapeng. What are the 3? These are 2 questions, but listen to this. What are the 3 things to do to set up a successful email marketing list? And 2, how do we get around the poppy issue? Can I just email people who have already given me their email addresses, even if it was not specifically for email marketing?
Yeah, so the poppy thing has thrown a little bit of a spanner in the works. So poppy, basically, you can't fool people into giving their information. You need to also make sure that they have consented to whatever it is you're using their data for. So the first thing I would say is, if you have an existing list of an existing database or a list of people, of customers, set up an email and email them and say, like, we are going to delete your name from our list unless you opt in. So you almost need to get them to re-opt in again after poppy. And then if you are getting new names now after poppy, you need to make sure that it's clear there that they know exactly what they're signing up for. So if it's going to be used for marketing purposes, and that they have a way that they can opt out, which is pretty easy if you're using a MailChimp or a public platform, or a easily available platform for email. There's usually an unsubscribe link. So really, I think there can be a lot of confusion around the Poppy Act, but it's really just being transparent with your audience and your list about what you're going to be using that information for. And then in terms of building an email list, I definitely think that is very valuable, because we don't own Facebook, we don't own Instagram. We could build a huge following and one day it could disappear. And if you are very reliant on these platforms, I would suggest focusing on building an email list. I've had clients who've lost 30,000, 40,000 followers because they got hacked and lost their whole accounts. So my two pieces of valuable advice, I think, based on past, experiences, is make sure you have your security settings updated on your account. So two-factor authentication. If you haven't done that, set that up today, because I'm hearing stories daily of accounts getting hacked and people losing access to their business accounts. And then focus on growing your email list. And how do you do that? There's a number of ways. If you're an e-commerce brand, you can get people to opt in when they buy from you. If you're not an e-commerce brand, you could give something of value in exchange for an email address. So for example, this free calendar that I have shared, that was a lead magnet that I've also been using. So people opt in with their email address, they get the value in return, and then they can consent to me sending them more information around other services that I offer, like courses and memberships. And so you need to give value in order to get something. No one's just going to give you their email address for nothing. So maybe create a course or a freebie or a download, or offer someone a discount in order to grow your email list. And don't spam your followers. Make sure that you are, you uphold your reputation, and that you send them things that are going to be interesting to them, and that they're going to find informative. I just think of an email that I subscribe to weekly. It's super short. It's very quick. It's like 3 ideas from this one guy, and it's like 3 sentences. And that's my favorite email that I get every week, because it takes me like 1 minute to read it. And it's super clear. So also your emails, keep them short. People's attention spans are very, very short these days. So less is more.
So you came in slightly late for me. 2 years ago, my Instagram account was hacked, and somebody started selling online trading and those scams to people. And I tried incessantly to speak to Instagram. They were not responding to stuff. And as matters currently stand, I still believe that thing is still live. I mean, I created a new account, and I don't even have a third of people who used to follow. I think they're still stuck there thinking that I'm this guy who sells them stuff, but that's okay. I've tried everything. I've reposted. I've gone public to say I know nothing about cryptocurrency. I'm not the guy who's selling you that nonsense out there. I'm just a broadcaster. But it happens. So, Makosazana Tivet Zudha, and I think that would be our last question. She asked if your business would help them with things like local SEO, technical SEO, link building with content, Google Analytics, and utilizing the likes of Screaming Frog, whatever that is. I don't know why frogs scream. SEO clarity, models to generate accurate reports, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so we don't do SEO ourselves, but they're welcome to go to alphabetsocial.co.za and get in touch with us. We can always put them in touch with an SEO specialists that can help them. From a services standpoint, we do paid advertising paid ad strategies mainly for e-commerce brands. And so that's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and then, as I said, the courses and memberships. And we also do some Google ads, but also mainly for online shopping brands.
Brilliant. In fact, I need to ask you, Makosazana's other question. As a startup, would your business, Leigh, be able to assist us? I mean, when I was a startup, the one thing I wanted was everything for free. So I searched for everybody who can assist me for no money at all.
Exactly. So I've also been a startup. Still consider myself a startup.
So
what we do at Alphabet is we like to provide a range of services at different price points. So I would say to the brands that don't have big budgets, join our membership. You get so much value. So sessions like I've just had now every month, where I hold your hand, give you guidance. It's live, interactive. You can network with other business owners. So that is just, we closed at the moment, but they can join the waitlist from our website. And that's now like $349 a month, which I think for a startup is very affordable. And then it goes from there. Then you can do a course. So our courses are in the like 2,000 to 3,000 Rand price range. And our top tier would be where we actually do it for you, which is obviously very time consuming and requires a lot of work. And then those we quote the clients for that. So if you're just starting out and you don't have a big budget, I would really say our membership is the best value for money, because you learn so much and you don't have to worry about being out of touch or not knowing what's happening in the world of social media. We worry about that for you, and then we just spoon feed you the updates and information every month. So you just have to tune in, and then you know that you'll be up to speed on what's happening.
Leigh, Tobin, founder and director of Alphabet Social, thank you so much for a brilliant session. You are famous, I can tell you. Everybody loves you.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was wonderful, and I hope to connect with you. Please follow us on Instagram. We'd love to connect, and send me a DM, and also just check out our website to get your, the link has been shared, so get your free content calendar for April. April's a busy month with lots of holidays, so you want to make sure that you're prepared.
Excellent. In fact, I find that lots of holidays are what we need to use. That downtime does work amazingly.
If you're a business owner, you need to rest. Exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Leigh. Have a great day further.
Thanks, everybody. Lovely to see you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Ram.
Bye. Bye. Folks, there's something that you should appreciate about Proudly South African. Everything about this organization is something to be proud of. And one of the things that stands out about them is that they also recognize the laws of this country, like Labor Relations Act. So, on the basis of Labor Relations Act, I'm entitled to lunch. I shall see you at 2:30. Please come back and join.